This is the smoothest Jeep I've ever driven. As a smooth riding experience, I mean, this is almost Rolls-Royce, which is kind of cool. Right now, if you want to buy a capable off-roader, you want to buy yourself either a Jeep Wrangler or a Jeep Gladiator. They're two of the most capable off-road vehicles on sale. But when automakers switch to all electric, what will that off-roading enthusiast group drive? We're here with Magna today to drive this all-electric Jeep Gladiator, which might have the underpinnings of your next off-road ride. Getting behind the wheel of Magna's EtelligentTerrain prototype, we're actually in a Jeep Gladiator, and it looks and feels like a Gladiator. There's all of the control surfaces are the same. Magna does have their own screen in here to control their system, and the instrument cluster has a blue background instead of its normal black or green, but everything else is normal. It's a normal Jeep shifter, it's a normal Jeep control surface for interface for controlling like the sway bar disconnect as well as the front and rear lockers. Now what separates this from a gas-powered Gladiator or the now discontinued diesel Gladiator is Magna's axles are front and rear. They're both solid axles, and this is their first application of a steerable front axle. So in terms of normal regular consumer, if you're used to driving a Jeep Rubicon, a regular Rubicon or a Gladiator Rubicon, this is exactly the same. They've basically designed this hardware and software setup to drop right in. So you drop the gas motor out and that associated hardware, and you put the electric stuff in. So in theory, as I sit in front of this very big hill we're about to climb, in theory, this experience should be as good or better than in a gas-powered Rubicon doing the same sort of climb. If you've watched any of our previous content around the Jeep 4xe products, the Wrangler and the Grand Cherokee, you'll know that I talk sort of at length about how awesome off-roading in electric-only mode is. You sort of feel like you have a better direct control of your foot to the pedal, and the pedal input directly to the tire, to the rocks. So, and it's also super quiet, and this thing is super quiet. So we're gonna tackle this hill. Full disclosure, this is my first time doing it. Typically in something like this, I'll have run it once or twice, but you get to experience it with us as we do it. Now we're at Hollyoak Off-Road Park, if anybody in sort of the Michigan area know, and we're actually climbing Mount Magna. So it's a fairly washed out rock climbing surface. It can be pretty technical. You can it'll be hard to pick up on camera, but there's a little bit of the tires spinning a little bit, computer trying to figure out a little bit. They have we're going to demonstrate here in a second, a more amateur rock crawl mode, but that was pretty easy. I know it'll be kind of hard to show on camera. Our videographer took several different shots of both this vehicle climbing and coming down the hill, but trust us, it's more steep than it looks, and it's definitely more challenging than it looks, especially considering that it rained yesterday, so anything sort of grippy will have washed off. Now we're going to tackle the same obstacle in Magna's E-telligent Low, which is their sort of software solution similar to Ford has a trail control. Toyota uses, I think it's crawl control, they call it. Basically, it's a system designed to assist in off-roading by handling all the traction and wheel spin and torque all by itself, so you as the driver just have to focus on the line. So it's been suggested by the engineer in the vehicle with us that I try doing this obstacle without putting my foot on the accelerator at all. So we're going to give that a shot. And my foot is firmly not anywhere near the accelerator or brake. Now this is all prototype software still, so it's by no means what you would see in a production vehicle. There's still refinement and tuning that they'll have to do, which is also me kind of giving a little bit of a cop-out if it doesn't work perfectly. But I will admit that, again, my foot's all the way up on the seat, and we have just climbed this hill perfectly, nearly perfect. Yep, nope, perfectly. I thought sure it was going to slip there for a second, and it didn't. It's uneventful, and I think that's what's absolutely sort of incredible about this experience. And when I drove their E-telligent Force 3/4 ton pickup truck last year, like that's really what sort of blew me away about the experience. Was it's just a heavy duty truck, and honestly, again, I haven't had a lot of time with this. I would love to have more time with it, but it's a prototype. that this is, it's a Jeep. It says Jeep will Jeep. It does what it says on the tin. I'm repositioning the Gladiator now to demonstrate the low range mode of the software. Now there's actually no low speed transfer case in this Jeep. The shifter is actually completely removed. And it's part of their terrain software that I demonstrated on Mount Magna earlier. A couple of things while we get repositioned. This is the smoothest Jeep I've ever driven. There's 1,500 pounds of extra weight on this over a gas-powered Gladiator. Part of that is all of the Magna hardware, the axles, the control software, all of that. Additionally, there is a prototype battery on board. Now, Magna, to my understanding, does not make batteries, so this wouldn't be a production thing. So don't take that 1,500 number as gospel. If this were to see production in a Gladiator, the weight would vary. But as a smooth riding experience, I mean, this is almost Rolls-Royce, which is kind of cool. Now, in the low range mode, I'm told I can just take my foot off the brake and it'll creep down. Now, what's cool about this is it is behaving more like a low range mode than hill descent control. Hill descent control in a gas-powered vehicle typically will use the brakes to sort of maintain your speed. And in Jeep products, you can control the speed of your downhill control by kilometers, so 1 kilometer, 2 kilometers, 3 kilometers an hour. It's using regen, so it's all software controlled, and basically you go up the hill and you use electricity going up the hill, and then it recuperates coming down. And since I don't have to put my foot to the brake pedal to slow down, it's recuperating most of that energy. So nothing's really lost to heat. And honestly, again, like the climbing up the hill on Mount Magna, the experience is, it's gasoline plus. It's everything that I expect from a Jeep, just a little bit easier and with no noise. And I mean, it's absolutely wild. When this goes into production, I mean, I don't know things, but if this hardware ended up in a production Jeep at some point, or a production off-roader of some other brand, like, you guys are gonna be thrilled. If you're thinking to yourself, wow, I should go out and buy an electric Gladiator today, well, you can't. As of July 2023, the only powertrain option available is a gas-powered Gladiator like the Magna truck behind me. But what we drove today will likely find itself into a future off-road vehicle. Will it be the Wrangler or the Gladiator? I don't know, I can't say. This isn't all pie in the sky future tech, however. You can experience the all-wheel drive EV powertrain from Magna in the current Volkswagen ID.4. To watch our full review of the Volkswagen ID.4, click the box right over here.